Steel shapes steel. The spirit shapes the soul. HOI. Iron sharpens iron.
Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. We in captivity, we done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like how you were saying.
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D Nail. Over here, guess who's cooking? Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings. All right. We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And of course, we got the world famous turkey tips. All right. We also got on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday. All right. And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.Guess Who's Cooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And of course on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down, get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and be a light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't top my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find, tell me now. Tell me what you need to find. I know who I am today. And you can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Tell you the truth, this ain't living. Cause every time we step outside, it's attempted suicide, drive-bys and homicide. It's the everyday norm. Welcome to the eye of the storm, where we at war from the day we born to the day we die. Surrounded in the flesh, drowning in these lies from these white guys with these evil eyes towards our own kind, committing genocide. Sliding down the block, then a Glock pop, another brother gone. Tell me when it's gonna stop, cause it's so wrong. But Deuteronomy 28 and 54 will let you know it's all a curse. Plus, we've been systematically played against each other. Only way to conquer a nation is basic. Hope you realize the truth and face it. With the children of Jacob and his kingdom we taking. But this generation will never make it. We don't repent and turn back to the Most High as a nation. I know who I am today. And you can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. All these other nations ever did was rape, rob, and murder us. Now generation after generation, we born into a sea of lies. With all praise to the Most High for opening up my eyes, and now I see the truth. Got me feeling magnificent. Yes, they hate us cause the drip is sick, but tell you the truth, if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't have shit. We that seasoned boy, yeah, the salt of the earth, and it's apparently clear through every verse. So it's Kwam Yasha Allah too, I'm dead in the dirt, I'm taking away up in the chariot. I'm trying to lead my people to freedom like Harriet, or better yet like Moses did. Bible in one hand, sword in the other, go to war like a Maccabee. Praying mercy on my people, vengeance on my enemies. And I don't fear no man, cause I know them angels surrounding me. So go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. I know who I am today. Most High. The Most High.
We're talking about beads for bodies, and this is day 3 of Black History Month.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm Dawad, HOI Detroit. Got the reader here. Go ahead and give your name.
Zaya Israel, also from Detroit.
Oh man, we want to give all praise to Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai, and give all honors to our elders. We have a topic for you today: history and his story. So we got history and his story. And you guys in for a treat today. Uzziah, boy, this brother his pronunciations be on point.
I appreciate that.
We're gonna bring it out. We're gonna start off like something like the definition, pretty much, of history. The definition of history is history can be defined as a study of past events that had occurred in the past, and the story is an account of imaginary or real people and events that had occurred. So we're going to show the difference, because we understand that our oppressors have basically took our history and done away with our history. Okay, so we're going to break this down so people can get an understanding and see how our history has pretty much been put on the back shelves, and we've been given this false narrative, this false history that we've been given. So I think we can start off. Let's start off with the basics. We're gonna go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
Around 28 and 15.
Yeah, do 28 and 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15. And it reads, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee."
Now, when we talk about curses, when we see the people who pretty much is in the ghettos, anytime you see a Martin Luther King Boulevard, you know somewhere's our people around, right? So people that's like in the ghettos, and why we in this predicament? We're in this predicament because we God's chosen people, and we didn't want to listen to them. Okay, and these is why these curses is put upon us. Now, give me 28:48.
48. All right. Verse 48. "Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee."
Now, when we think about that, if we just want to get something to eat, we have to go what? We go to the grocery store, right? If you want to get water, right, you better pay your water bill, right? It's cold. Everybody been hit with this cold spell that's been going around the country, right? What happens if you don't pay that gas bill? You're gonna be in the cold, right? So for wants and needs of all things, because we did not want to listen to the Most High. Okay. Now give me the 68. Okay.
68?
Yes, sir.
68. Okay, I got you. Verse 68. "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you."
Now, we know who was put into these ships. We know that it's Black History Month. So we all know about the slavery part. We all know that we was put in chains. But what they don't tell us is who we were before those chains, who we were in the beginning, and how do we get rather in this position? See, they don't tell us that. See, we listen to pretty much our oppressors, and this is one thing that I always bring out. And I mean, it's almost like it just flows off my tongue. You know, the same people that enslave you, beat you, rape you, treat you worse than cattle is not going to put you in a position to be equal or greater than. But what do? We want to go to the same people that oppress us and put us in chains. Please take me out of chains. It never happened in the history of man that you have to beg for your oppressor to release you or to get you out of bondage. It never happened. You know, I mean, people say that, well, slavery is done away with. No, we got, what's that, the 13th Amendment? So long as you got a felony, and as of today, I think we probably got about over 1 million. We got over 1 million so-called slaves. Because as soon as you get a felony, you pretty much at slave status, right?
God.
So I mean, so what happens is they change things around, they change words around. But as it says, we don't have to go there, but in Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So we know that things is nothing new under the sun, but we still want to listen to our oppressor that's telling us his story of things, telling us his story, and instead of telling us the history or the truth. Okay, let me get that Psalms 55:21. That's that Psalms 55:21. See, we want to sit up and listen to our oppressors, and it starts from infancy. They train us from school, and school is pretty much set up to make sure that you can stay in line. Okay, make sure that you don't use no type of analytical thinking, that you don't analyze. They don't want you to be no bright thinkers. They want you to be a worker bee. So that's why they created the school system, right? So you don't question anything. Okay, you got that?
Yeah, Psalms 25.
55:21.
Oh, 55:21. Yeah, I got you, right. The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
So there we go. So the words out of his mouth was smooth as butter. You know, now how many treaties was broken with the so-called Native Americans? How many treaties was broken with us? Now, since we're going to talk about history and his story, and this by being February and it's Black History Month, you know, we all want to talk about like reparations, right? Everybody know about reparations and about we're supposed to get how many acres is that? We're supposed to get. So you probably just know offhand. There you go. And what else with that 40 acres?
A mule.
That's right. So you're supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. But you know who got reparations? The slave owners got reparations for their properties being taken away from them. Okay. But we didn't get nothing. Okay. So we go back with those smooth words, but war is in their heart. Okay. So we know that they come with these smooth words, but war is definitely in their heart. Okay. Is anything else on that? Or is that
it's about meat? It's about meat on that bone.
Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
And we see that now. We see what's going on. It's almost like the rooster that came back home to roost. We see what's going on with ICE right now, right? For how long that we have been persecuted and we have been beat down by the police. Now we see what's happening. You know, now this thing is going to they killing their own people now. Okay, that's to bring this to show the type of person that we're dealing with, and this is the person that you think is going to tell you the truth about your own history. You think this is the person that's going to put you in a position to be equal or greater than by a vote? You really think your vote count? You really think you go in and that really makes a difference? You know. Anyway, let's get that. I have another one here too. What is that? Psalms 59:7.
Okay.
You know, some people think that. You know, it's an old saying. If you got a quarter, right? One of the quarters is heads and the other quarters is tails. Now you can throw that quarter up, and who knows how many times it'll fall on tails or how many times it'll fall on heads. But at the end of the day, it's still a what? Still a quarter. So people still worrying about this party or that party. It don't matter. Still that same quarter.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got that Psalms 59:7?
Yep, I got it out. The book of Psalms, chapter 59 and verse 7. Behold, they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. For who, say they, doth hear?
So they say that. So they speak secretly, right? And they say, who is that is going to hear us? Okay?
Right.
Ain't nobody going to hear us. But we know that swords are in their lips. Okay? We see that from the other verse. They come with smooth words and this and that. Oh, well, you know, they're not all bad and this and that, or we're not this and that. But people remember that picture. I think it was a brother that was being back, I think like in the 1920s, and he was being hung. Not only did they castrate him, hang him, shoot him, and burn him, they would cut the parts off of him and sell them and make postcards. And I'll never forget, it was a little white girl, and she had a big old smile on her face looking at that. Now, that is something that is just in somebody. I'm not trying to say that everybody is like that, but hey, you got to call a spade a spade.
Hey, God.
You know, you got to call a spade with that. Okay, let's get this. We're gonna get this one more too. Let me get that Jeremiah 9:8. Now, if you got a group of people that can sit back and make postcards, take these kids to these audience, like it was a big thing. They were dressed up. Okay, they were dressed up. And to see us being hung, to see us being lynched, okay, to see us suffering. This was a major event.
God.
It was a matter of fact, it was a family gathering. That's what it was. It was a family gathering. Let's get little Tommy. Let's get little Jimmy. Let's go ahead. What's going on? You know, so you know, like I said, you got to call a spade a spade. So people don't understand that it's nothing new under the sun. And so that same spirit that was there then is here now.
God.
It was here now. Okay, I'll never forget. Who was that guy? Oh, this is going back a little bit. I'm telling my age now. It was a guy running. He was the head wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, and his name was David Duke. And what David Duke said, how did he put something right in your face? David Duke said, you know, the Klan, we're not going to wear these hoods anymore. We're going to get into politics and law enforcement. Now, mind you what he said. We're going to get into politics and law enforcement. Then as soon as he said that, a couple of days later, he said, I'm no longer consider myself a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I don't participate in that lifestyle. I'm going to run into politics and make a difference. He just told you what he's going to do. But people get so blinded that they be like, well, he changed.
Yeah. Change locations.
Go ahead, I'll with that. Jeremiah 9:8.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 9 and verse 8. Their tongue is as an arrow shot out. It speaketh deceit. One speaketh peacefully to the neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he layeth his weight.
Yeah. Yeah. He speak peacefully, but we know what's really in his heart. Okay. And then even some of our own people are like that. Okay. Because they done emulated their oppressor, right? So they watch these so-called gangster movies, and you know how many everybody most young guys that back in the day that saw Scarface, what did they want to do? Right?
Be Scarface.
Yeah, they want to be Scarface. They want to sell dope. I want to be him. I want to be, what's his name? Tony Montana. I want to be Tony Montana. Right? So we see that, right? So we see that history, that subliminal messaging that's just been put in us constantly from the school system, right? When you go to school, I remember, I ain't going to say the whole thing. I ain't going to put it out here, but we all know this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic, whatever. Now, I just know that just like that. Because when I was in school, they made us say it.
So many times.
Yeah, you had to say that. I mean, you had to say that as soon as you went to school. That thing we had to say it when he came back for lunch. You know what I'm saying? So it just rolled off the tongue. Okay. You know, so we sitting up here. So, I mean, we are being programmed to think that we've been programmed to love our oppressor from his story that he's been telling us by hiding our true history. He has replaced our history with his. Right. So we got a video too on that. And this video here is particular. If you can get that first video, because this is the first movie that my dad took my mom to. Right. And this movie, it was called the 10 Commandments. I think it was back in 1957. Okay. And in this movie, you can see how they changed everything. So you had that first video I sent. You had that first one. I guess maybe they don't have it. Well, anyway, the whole. I think they're going to go ahead and get to it. But that first video, okay. The first video is dealing with the 10 Commandments, and don't pay that no attention. They got that on there, but everybody know I'm Dawad, you know, which is David in Hebrew. But what that movie did was it was telling a history, but it pretty much was telling us a lie. Okay, it's pretty much telling us a lie that I mean, and you can read between the lines. But we can see how those in power, you know, how they can change things around. Is it possible you can get that video? Anna Paul, where he at? Anybody get that picture? Cap? Maybe they can't get the video. Okay. Well, okay. Maybe they can't unload the video. But what the video is this video was pretty much you would see, what's his name? Charleston Heston. I think he was a very popular actor at the time, right? Mm-hmm. And he was, everybody in there was white. I think Elizabeth Taylor was Cleopatra, what have you. And I think that Charleston, oh, here it go right here.
This was the face I saw above my cradle, the only mother I've ever known. But my feet are set upon a road that I must follow.
From director Cecil B. DeMille.
I will teach thee.
Men shall be ruled by law, not by the will of other men.
Slaves are mine.
The Academy Award-winning film.
Let my people go.
Of the unforgettable definitive Bible story.
I know not his God, neither will I let his people go.
You have not obeyed the Lord.
This night, the Lord our God will deliver us from the bondage of Egypt.
They shall die under my chariot wheels. So let it be written, so let it be done.
Starring some of film's greatest legends. The greatest epic of all time.
Behold his mighty hand. Those who will not live by the law shall die by the law.
The 10 Commandments.
Okay,
now on 4K
it.
Ultra HD Blu-ray and digital.
That's it right there. That's it. That's it. Now, the crazy thing about that movie is we all know the part where they got smitten with and with the plague, and his arm turned white. They had to take that part out of there because they was already white. I'm serious. They couldn't show that part. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. So they had to take that part out. So we see how what is that? An image says more than 1,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1957. And ironically, they had a cartoon now that was called David. And guess what? You could take your kids for free to see it. Children can see it for free. And of course, they had Edomite playing all the roles because they understand that that's subconscious, that we're going to change this history, our story. Remember, history is it's events of the past, but a story could be imaginary events of the past. It could be real or fake. Okay, and we know that's fake. They had to take that one part out. All right, right now, give me let me get that what's that, Job 9:24. That Job 9:24. So we see how they play with history. We see how they affect our subconscious by working on it. Okay, we see all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got that up?
Yeah, I got it up.
All right, go ahead.
The book of Job, chapter 9, and verse 24. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof.
Okay, stop right there. They covered the faces of the judges of Now, who was the judges? We were the judges, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whose faces did they cover? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They covered our faces, right? They covered our faces. And then who was that recently? What was his name? The president of Russia. What was his name? Putin, right?
Putin.
And he came out with the archives of the pictures of the saints that were all black.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people still don't want to accept. You know, they still don't want to accept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. You can finish. Anything left on that?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Wow. So he covers the faces of the judges. Now, people don't realize this, but a lot of the famous painters, they became famous because that was their job, okay? To cover up all the faces, okay? That was their job, to cover up all the faces of the saints. So in your mind, you would think that all the saints were European or white, okay? But we know that that's not true for a fact, okay? Historically, they know it's not true. Matter of fact, recently, who was that? What was that guy's name? Uzziah, the one that he's a YouTube influencer. I think he go by Speed. What's his name?
Come on, Kai Sennett?
No, his name is Speed. He's on
I Show Speed.
Yeah, I Show Speed, right? And he got so much hate from going over to Egypt, right? And what's the other? He went to Algeria. Okay, I mean, so much hatred because this man's skin is darkened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so we see how they change things around. Give me since we're here, let's get on that Daniel. Give me that Daniel 7:25, please. So we see the hatred that came about. Here, this man, he's one of the biggest influencers far as the media influencers, right? And he goes around. He came back from Asia. He went on all these places. When he was in the other part of Africa before he went to North Africa, you know, nothing but love, right? Soon as he's up there in that Egypt, and he did the same thing to what's that comedian's name? Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Hart. They did the same thing to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart went there where it's like we know he said that the original Egyptians were black, and they pretty much kicked him out the country and banned his shows in Egypt. You know, no. Yeah, in Egypt. Yeah, in Egypt. There you go.
Yeah, we gotta understand we were slaves over there. So, you know, that hate's still over there. I don't want you coming over there talking about who these people is.
But you know what's crazy? I had a guy I went to school with, right? He was Egyptian. And he was darker than me, but he was an Egyptian, right? And like a lot of times when the so-called Arabs, whatever, come over here, they have to put on their forms as being white, right? So he was trying to get some type of financial aid. By him not being a minority and being white, they denied him. And he just had a fit. He's like, look at my skin. How am I white? I am not white. And so he just had, anyway, I'm just going back there. I know I'm going to try to stay on point. Get a chance to go ahead with that Daniel 7:25, please.
Yeah, I got you. The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Wow. I'm just wear out the saints. So, I mean, just think about this. How often we out here in these highways and byways and we catching it, boy, right? And we even, I mean, and Jake, our own people be like, man, I don't want to hear that. You know, I was just earlier today, I was talking to some guy. He's like, you know, what you gonna do about the black community? This, that. I mean, so we wearing us out. Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws.
So think about this: change times and laws. Like right now, this is February. Last month was January. It's supposed to be the new, the beginning, the fresh. Tell me one thing to grow in January.
Ice.
Nothing. All right. January is one of the deadest months that you can get. Everything is dead. By January, everything is gone. Ain't nothing growing, right? But here it is now. He changed times. He changed date. He changed his story, right, to fit his agenda. Right. Go ahead.
All right. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment, this verse 26.
Now that's good. That's good.
Good. Okay, kind of.
That's good. That's good. It was just saying right there that it's given to his hand and what he's changing and what it's doing. But yet we still want to put faith in. We still want to believe a lie. That's smooth words. You know, smooth like butter. But what was in their heart? War. But we don't see that. What was that? Sun Tzu, right? Sun Tzu, which one of the famous Chinese or whatever Moabite warriors, he wrote a book, and it's called The Art of War. And he said the best way to defeat your enemy is not let your enemy know that you're at war.
We're with them.
So now we sit up here, right? Still want to vote, still want to put your faith in your oppressor, still want to go ahead and put yourself in debt, go to college to get more educated on your oppressor way of thinking, right? You know, and then expect for things to turn around. Oh, man. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, let's get on to this. Okay, you know what? We probably can get that other video too that we had, because it's going to show the difference between the fake right there, while it's fresh, and then we can show the real. This is the next video, and this next video is going to show who God's people really are. Okay, it's going to explain to you who we are and break it down. You know, I mean, and it's not complicated. It's not no rocket science. I mean, people know these things. I mean, we just seen the president of Russia just brought it out. He's like, you know, he just brought it out and said, you know, hey, these are the true saints, right? And showed the pictures of them. And still, you know, you go to some people in Christianity, what difference does it make? Okay, if it don't make a difference, then make them black. Okay. Right. Well, I mean, there you go being racist. I'm being racist. But how can you not be racist when you got them as white? When you know in the so-called Middle East, and to show you how they are. The term Middle East is a term that was created. I think I'm shooting from the hip here, but I think it was something that's created in the turn of the last century, of like the 20th century, beginning of 20th century. It's something that they created. Okay, because if it's the Middle East, then where's the Middle West? Okay, where's the Middle South? Right. So that shows that they want to try to show a difference between the Northern Africa and the rest of Africa. There can't be no correlations. There just can't be no connections at all. Right. Like these people could never just intermingle, right? Well, they stole everything, the books, all the writings and everything from them, right? And didn't have an audacity to be like, hey, we did this, okay? And what was that thing that's called? What was that you call for identity theft? What is that? Well, it's a thing that you can call. What was I forget? It's for identity theft. I think you pay your money and they make sure no one steals your identity. And
like basically like a fraud checker or verify your identity. You know, these little things they got to kind of like, man, what's the LifeLock? Is that it?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
LifeLock. Yeah,
right, LifeLock. We need LifeLock dealing with Esau. We definitely need, but we have all type of alerts going on. It'll be alerts every 5 seconds. It'll be an alert, right? Because our identity has been stolen to the point that we don't even know, right? And we that's how bad our identity been, you know. Been what?
They'd have stolen so much.
Crazy, man. Calling me some Israel, like, man, yeah, come on, man. Travel, man, I don't want to hear that. So, I mean, that's how defeated and how crafty they are. But I want y'all, if you get a chance to get that new video, to bring the other video out, it's the second video that I had. And this second video can show the difference between how they came out with this fake image when they couldn't even show how he became leopards. You know, he couldn't pull his arm out where it turned white because he's already white. They had to take they had to actually take the scene out, right? So then when we even have a lot of times Esau will come out and say it, right? And say, well, yeah, they are the real people and people of this and bring out things of Sons of Solomon, how it would be like, I am black, but calmly, and calmly means what? Beautiful, right? So then you say that, but they're like, well, what he was saying was, then they try to switch it around, So, but nothing is new under the sun. So, I mean, they have taken our identity, they have taken our name, they have taken our land, they had took all our heritage, they had took our culture, they had took everything from us, right? And they want to know why we can't get ahead. And then despise all of that, right? And we still will raise up because remember now, we still are God's chosen people, right? So we still are raised up somehow and get a Black Wall Street, or we'll get a Rosewood in Florida, right? And what they do? Come and
bomb them. You know, it was crazy. A lot of cities is underwater right now. Where black people prosper. They done put freeways through them cities, or a lot of them cities underwater right now. You can't even go to the city no more. They just erased it.
That's a good point you bring out, because what they do a lot of times, far as with the cities, you would see like most of your major highways are strategically positioned. They went through the major hub of the Black community to break down their business. Now, you can't say that wasn't something that was just done, This was something that they studied, that they did research on to make sure. We got to break them down. We can't have them strong. So, but that second video will actually bring out, and that second video could really show that, like who we really are. So, I don't know if they have it or not. So, y'all able to get that second video? So let's see. Let's see here. Okay, we're having problems with that. Well, we can go on to the next. Okay. All right. Well, we can go on to the next right over here. So let's go over here to give me Psalm 62 and 10.
Psalm 62 and 10. All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 10. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them.
There you go. Can you read that one more time, please? Please.
Yep. Trust not in oppression.
So trust not in oppression, right? So some people love this oppression. Some people love it, okay? We all in prison, okay? Just because you ain't got a 6x8 cell and you got a 20x8 cell, you think you're doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you become comfortable, right? So you become comfortable with that. And then it says, what if riches increase, right? So, man, so now I'm going to pay you all this money. Think about an athlete, right? Why do they pay an athlete a king's ransom to play sports? Because what he does is it's a distractionary tool, right? Mm-hmm. Some guys get up in sports, they ain't thinking about their kids, they ain't thinking about nothing. Now, I can sit up here, I'm just going to watch this, right? So long as you can stay asleep and they keep you asleep, I'll pay these guys because they're doing their job. Okay? They're doing their job by keeping you asleep, right? Mm-hmm. So, and let's talk about this. Why do they want to keep us asleep? Why do they do this, right? So let's go to Psalms 83, 2 to 4. Yeah, that's Psalms 83. And it's going to kind of break it down a little bit, this Psalms 83. Okay. And you're going to see why they do some of the things that they do. You know, and pretty much a lot of them being in power pretty much depend on this, right? Sometimes we don't understand how powerful we are. If we just follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, we don't get it. I was just talking to a guy earlier. I'm just going back and forth. I don't know, somebody that Captain Penn had me, I don't know who he was, but we was going back and forth on it. And these people, they're just so determined. They think that they can just change things around, and they do. Anyway, can you read that Psalms 83 and 2 before I get too much off on a tangent?
That's right. The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that have Salakia, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
So a tumult. See, people don't understand what a tumult is. Like when you back in the castle days, they had a big castle, right? Mm-hmm. And they have a tumult, and the tumult was like it's like it'd be filled with water or something. It'd protect the castle where you could just go in there, right? Mm-hmm. So you know, it's so you know, it was like they were used to help defend themselves. Okay, go ahead, keep going. Mm-hmm. Get that 3 as well. 83, 3 to 4. Go all the way to 4.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Oh, so wow. So they have taken crafty counsel. They have taken crafty counsel. That means that they have all come down and said, hey, man, what can we do to defeat these people? Man, what can we do? Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yep. And consulted against thy hidden ones. Mm. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Wow. Mm. Now, see, people say, well, we still hear about Israel now. What are you talking about? Well, I'm just going back what this whole thing is about. History and his story, right? So, yeah, Israel is here now, but is that the real Israel? And even when they go to the welding wall out there, you see them on there at the welding wall. That was actually a Roman Centurion building. That was part of a Roman building. That had nothing to do with the temple, and they know this. right? So what they do right in front of us, they change. We just did that in Daniels. These people change times, right? They paint over the saints. So when they say, let's not for the name Israel to be no more, that means not the real Israel. Okay. So that's one thing we got to think about, not the real Israel. Now let's get a little bit more in depth with that one right there. Let's get that in the apocrypha. Let's get Judith 5:20. Judith 5:20. That's gonna break it down a little bit more in depth. Okay. So you can see how they take crafty counsel against us, right? And they have created a confederacy. A confederacy when they all come together against us, right?
The book of Judith. You ready out?
Con.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Now just stop right there for 1 second. So that means right there, if it's any sin, so that means if we stop following God when we started off in the beginning from that Deuteronomy 28, it's a basic script. Most people know it. So if we don't listen and follow the commandments of Yahweh, what's going to happen to us? Right? They know that. That means our enemy know this.
They know this.
So pretty much we like Superman. We can do all this stuff. But what happened to Superman if you put some I ain't got to say it. You already know what it is. What is it? Kryptonite, right? You put some kryptonite around Superman, then what happened to him? He weak. He can't do nothing. Yeah. So our kryptonite is when we start following God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and we start listening to what Yahweh wants us to do, and we want to start doing our own thing and start following after the heathens, then this is what happens to us. Go ahead. Carry on.
Excellent point, King. All right. And they sin against their God. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
So that's why it's so important for them to keep this lie going. That's why it's so important for them to push this story. Okay. That's why it is so important for them, because pretty much everything about them depend on it. Their existence depend on it. Okay. So that's why they have to keep pushing it, this narrative, right? They have to keep pushing this lie. That's like what we just showed the movie, the trailer of a movie that was from 1957, right? Then we got a movie right now in what's it, 2026 that was at the movies. Now the kids can see for free, but they got all white Esau characters right all in it, right? Because what images that's putting to your children. See, they're very crafty in what they do. That's why they take crafty counsel, right? So they crafty counsel, they ain't concerned about old Dawad. No. They ain't concerned about older Uzziah, but they are concerned about your babies. They are concerned about your grandbabies. If I can change their mind, then everything they did is just, hey, they was just talking. We still gonna remain in power.
Okay. It's a saying, he who gains the kids controls the future.
Con. That's a good one right there. Well, I like that one. I'm gonna have to write that one down, but that is true. And then think about how they said he's come down like a roaring lion ready to devour, right? Most lions and most like animals like that of prey, they don't look for the strongest one to attack. They look for the weakest to attack, right? So now it's a reason. Remember, they had those. I don't know if you remember. It's about maybe like 5 years back, and they had all these transgenders going reading to the kids. Right. It wasn't that fact that they wanted the kids to be. They just want the kids to accept it, right? They want to plant that seed in the kids' head that this is normal. Yeah. So what they do is they want to work on the youth. So now that seed is planted in your kid's mind. So now you try to tell the kids about the laws, these statutes, these commandments, and what happened? They don't want to what?
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it, right?
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And it's funny though, because with the images, you speaking on images, imagery is everything, and God not the author of confusion. So if you got the images coming out of black people being in the scriptures, now here come the enemy coming with the white, that's confusion. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna have the kids staying atheists, not knowing which way to go, because they ain't gonna know what to believe in.
Excellent point. That's like the guy I was talking to today. I don't know who this guy was, but he was on the fact that, look, man, I don't want to hear nothing about no Israelites, man. How we gonna change? How we gonna take over? And I said, Lord, hold it, man. He don't understand that Esau was given the power of weaponry, right? And he's gonna take everything by force, right? So what makes you think? Who makes the bullets? Who makes the gunpowder? Who makes all the weaponry? How did he just go in and take the president of Venezuela and his wife, right? And not one soldier was harmed, right? He got supersonic waves that he put out to blow people eardrums and blood coming out their nose, and he got guys that super soldiers that can shoot running on it and hit a dime. So and so how exactly was this brother thinking he was going to overcome this? Because this is the whole thing. Yahweh wants us to lean on him. Just like nothing is new under the sun. Remember, Egypt was that superpower. People's like, man, look at Egypt. Man, look at them chariots, man. Look at this. Oh, look at their weaponry. Man, can't nobody defeat them. I don't like a challenge.
He like a challenge.
You like a challenge. Okay, I'm fine.
That's right.
Okay, you got an F-16. No, you know what? I tell you what, I'm gonna give you an F-35. How about that?
Right.
Try that one on. So I mean, but that goes that that's our strength. Okay. What is that in Genesis? What is that? 3:28. Israel was that prince that got power with Yahweh and will prevail. So I mean, pretty much the fight is not even a fight. You know what I'm saying? We gonna prevail. What comes out his mouth is going to happen. Okay. Let's get this. Well, these are some more basic ones. Let's get that Proverbs 3:31. Okay.
Proverbs 3:31. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Wow. So that says, not envy not your oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You didn't say some of his ways. So I mean, so when you see a lot of us, they show, a lot of us when you get a job sometimes. I mean, hey, we in this captivity, right? And people that work in corporate America. You see some of us in corporate America. You know how I'm talking to you. But you're in corporate America, and you see them. Hey, Jim. Yeah, sure, Bob. You know what I'm saying? So what do you have to do? You have to, imitate your oppressor. You have to act more like your oppressor. Think about that. You got to act more like them. And then our women. I'm so tired of some of our women around here looking like bumblebees, black with blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? And we know that being from going back to Leviticus, that blonde hair is a curse. But they want to, who they want, who pretty much are you emulating? No, I'm not. This is no. What you mean? No, you're not. Oh, yeah, you are. But see, I'm older. I remember back in the 70s, everybody wanted froze. I mean, you saw white people with froze, Asian people with froze. You saw everybody had a fro. Right? Because it became the movement. And that's why they put a stop to that. That's why they had to go back. Hey, we're gonna never let this happen again. We're gonna make sure we're gonna put policies in place. We're going to change laws. We're going to tell you what, I'm going to reward the woman, okay? If she don't have a man in the house, I will give you, I tell you what, this would be like, let's make a deal. You can choose from door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Long as you ain't got no man in the house. You know what I'm saying? So, and what they get a house, they get food, they get this. So what happens? So now, a lot of times, even before you had the introduction to writing, stories was given from generations down from generations, from father to son, and so on and so on and so on, right? So now, you take the man out, now you're getting the culture is gone, right? He's not learning how to conduct himself as a man. He's not learning how to think like a man. You know, a man is we have problems. We want to be problem solvers, right? But now, if you was never raised around, you never introduced to that. So that's why you got a lot of these young men now, and they what? They very how can I say this? They're very sensitive, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, because they haven't seen, and you can tell a difference from. You can tell a guy that been around some men, and you can tell some guys that haven't. You know, I'm not saying that you had to have your your daddy or something, but you had to be around some guy to show you some type of testable fortitude. But anyway, let's go to the next one, and this is Sirach 12 and 10. Okay, Sirach 12 and 10. So we see his strategy, right? And it was an old saying when I was growing up, right? When I was growing up, my parents told me, you go to school to get educated, but you learn at home. You know? So you go to school to get educated, but you learn at home. All right. You got that out?
Yep, the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. You should never trust your enemy, for his wickedness rusts like a brass pot. And if he humble himself and goes about bow down, increase your alertness and guard yourself from him. That was the next verse. That just went good with that.
Yeah. So I mean, well, we can see that, right? Never trust thy enemies, for as like as rust, so is his wickedness. You're right. So we know how. I don't care what type of metal you get. Like now, if you leave something outside now, I'm looking at my truck right now, right? I'm getting a little bit rust around because what? I it's been out with the environment, right? I got to rinse some of that stuff off, right? If not, it's gonna rust. Right? But we know, never trust, because just as iron rust is, so is his wickedness. So it's no getting about that, right?
It's like trusting that salt. It's like trusting that salt ain't gonna rush your car out and you leave it on there. That's like you trusting your enemy thinking he ain't gonna do nothing.
Exactly. That salt ain't gonna do nothing to my car.
You ain't gonna do nothing.
You ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. You go in there, you have all type of holes in your car. Shoot, I'm looking at my work truck now. I'm like, man, I had to go and get it. I'm about to get that thing. I'm about to go and get it. Why? So so we know that. All right, let's go into another one right here now. Okay. And see what happens to a lot of our people is we see far as knowledge. If we going to our oppressor and getting his story instead of the truth in our history, right? And this is some of the effects of it. Let me get that Hosea 4 and 6.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, and thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem with us, right? Our people hate knowledge, right? Our people hate knowledge. So matter of fact, a lot of the lies that was given to us, right, that we don't know about. I think I got another video coming up. If you could show another video, because what happens too a lot of times is that, you know, they say one thing to us, right? And we believe it. I know when I was in school, I mean, like, man, I mean, just for instance, the Lone Ranger, you know, man, I just look at the Lone Ranger, see this white man, and wow, he doing all this, he's doing that. I mean, look, I see how crazy it is. Think of Tarzan. Ain't nothing but black people all through Africa. This one white man whooped the animals, whooped all the black people, and found the only white woman in the jungle. You know what I'm saying? You know, and people, they want to, you know what I'm saying? See how that affect our subconscious.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they have I have another video, and I'll be able to explain it. If the brothers pull it up right quick. But yeah, think about that. You know. All right, here it go.
Moses, Abraham, the prophets, they all look like Renaissance European, ancient Greece. But here's what they don't tell you. When archaeologists dug up the actual synagogues where ancient Israelites worshipped and read the Torah, something didn't match. The architecture was wrong. The styles were wrong. The inscriptions told a different story. These weren't Greek temples or Roman basilicas. They were something else entirely. Something that's been systematically removed from every textbook, every museum display, every Hollywood biblical epic. What if the earliest houses of worship in ancient Israel were built by people who didn't look anything like the paintings? What if the communities who gathered to read the Torah, who preserved the laws, who led the prayers, were black? Not imported, not visitors, not slaves, but the original inhabitants, the original keepers of the faith. And what if scholars know this, but the story was deliberately rewritten? Today, we're going to walk through the archaeological sites they don't talk about, the inscriptions that don't fit the narrative, the communities that vanished from history books but left evidence in stone, in clay, in the very earth of the Levant. We're going to see the synagogues they erased, the leaders they replaced, and the truth that changes everything. Because once you see what I'm about to show you, you can't unsee it. Let's dig in. First, we need to destroy a myth. Most people think synagogues didn't exist until after the Babylonian exile, but that's not what the archaeology shows. The word synagogue comes from Greek, sure, but the actual practice of gathering to read sacred texts, to discuss law, to assemble as a community, that goes back way earlier, to the Bronze Age, to the earliest days of Israelite settlement in Canaan. Archaeologists have found what they carefully call assembly structures and community gathering spaces. Why don't they call them synagogues? Because it would challenge the established narrative. These were simple structures, meeting houses where the community gathered, where elders read from scrolls, where disputes were settled. And here's the key. These structures don't look Greek or Roman. They look Semitic, Afro-Asiatic. They look like the architecture of the broader ancient Near East, including North Africa. Now, let's talk about who built them. When you hear ancient Israel, what do you picture? You probably picture people who look Mediterranean, maybe vaguely European. But the Levant in the Bronze Age wasn't populated by people who look like modern Europeans. Genetic studies, cranial morphology, archaeological evidence all point to the same thing. The population included a significant proportion of people who, by modern standards, would be classified as black. The Natufian culture, one of the earliest settled peoples in the region, had African features. The population that became the Israelites emerged from this Canaanite mix. Trade routes connected them directly to Egypt, the Arabian Peninsula, the Horn of Africa. This wasn't a white region that occasionally saw black visitors. This was a region where darker-skinned people were part of the landscape, part of the culture, part of the religious life. And that's where our story really begins. Here's where it gets really interesting. Ancient writers, Greek and Roman historians who actually visited the Levant described the people they met, and their descriptions don't match the Sunday school illustrations. Herodotus described people in the southern Levant as dark-skinned, not as an insult, just as an observation. He distinguished them from Egyptians, Greeks, and Persians. They were their own category. The Kadarites, an Arab Semitic group that mixed heavily with Judean populations, were consistently described as dark. The Arameans, close relatives of the Israelites, by multiple ancient sources. Roman writers sometimes used the word swarthy or talked about the burnt appearance of people from Judea. Now, you might say, well, that just means they were tanned from the sun. But compare how they described people from Greece or Italy. The language was different. These weren't just tanned white people. These were people from a different genetic background entirely. Within ancient Israel itself, you had regional variations. The highlands of Judea, the Negev Desert, the Shephelah lowlands, the Jordan Rift Valley. Each region had its own mix, but across all of them, you regionalized. They were farmers, merchants. We hear about them. Here's the uncomfortable truth. After the Greek conquest, after the Roman occupation, after the Christianization of the Roman Empire, the story of Israel got rewritten. Artists in medieval Europe painted biblical scenes, but they had never been to the Levant. They had never seen a Judean. So they painted what they knew. They painted Europeans. And over centuries, those images became the truth. The European Jesus, the European Moses, the European prophets became so embedded in Western consciousness.
Yeah, that's good right there. So we can see now, the person who's narrating this, you can tell he's a Edomite, okay? And now you have an Edomite telling you the truth. Only thing about the end, he tried to make it seem like it wasn't deliberate, but we know that they deliberately changed the faces to look like them, okay? Because they always want to be try to be in a position of power. I never forget when I was in school and I asked the teacher, she's like, well, we're going to talk about the Renaissance period. I said, well, let's talk about the Dark Ages. Why do you want to talk about the Dark Ages? I said, well, why can't we talk about the Dark Ages? I don't know. Maybe the spirit was with me back then. But I was like, let's talk about the Dark Ages. But anyways, we see that video. How everything, remember that he brought that out, the story. He said, look at the story that they tell us. They're telling us a story that they want us to believe. Remember, a story, as the definition of a story, it could be imaginary. So we know that this is pretty much a lie. It's his story, but it's his story, and that's his story, right? So we see these things that is right in front of us. Because a lot of times they put this right in front of us. It's an old saying that you can't see the forest because of those trees, right? So a lot of times, they put everything right in front of us. But here again, if you go to some people in Christianity, see, y'all racist. Why y'all got what difference does it make? So you trying to say the truth don't matter? So if the truth don't matter, then so what you getting up every day on the wrong day? On Sunday anyway, was the wrong day. So anyways, let's go. Let me see where we stopped at. Let's go to Isaiah 1 and 3.
If the truth don't matter, why they ask why you lie to me?
Con.
You said, what's that, Isaiah?
Yeah. Let me get that. We got that Isaiah.
What was it, Doc?
Isaiah 1 and 3.
1 and 3. Okay, kind of.
You know that. I'm just throwing a little basic stuff out here.
Yeah.
We got to keep edifying ourselves. As think about this. Like we saw that movie with the 10 Commandments in 1957, right? So they got to keep pushing this lie. So we have to keep pushing the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So even though a lot of times we hear some of these same basic scripts, but we have to bring it to the people and embed it into their subconscious as they try to take it out their subconscious. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You got that? That Isaiah 1 and 3?
Yeah, I got it out.
Okay.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people do not consider.
That's it. So there you go. So when we talk to people and you tell them that we Israelites, they be like, oh man, black people always want to be something. Here they go. My own father said that to me. Black people always want to be a part of something, always want to be important. You know what I'm saying? When here it is, we just saw a video that was narrated by Esau that stated that we are the original people, right? That stated that who we are, you know. Shoot. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I think sometimes something could be, what's that thing could be right in front of you and you still don't see it, or you don't, I'll put it this way, you don't want to see it because you love your you love being oppressed by your oppressor.
Yeah.
You know, so hey man, you can talk all that talk you want, man. I stay in the suburbs. I got me a white picket fence and I got me a white woman, man. I ain't thinking about nothing y'all saying. You know, so a lot of us have that type of mindset. And we look at some of these guys that's in these, I think from the NFL, the NBA, and you see a lot of them with these white women, with Esau women. It's not because it's just a coincidence. It's pretty much self-hate. People don't understand the power of the subconscious. They don't value themselves. They don't value people that look like their mom. They don't value people that look like their auntie, right? So now they have done the same thing with our women. Our women don't value men that look like us. They don't value, because right now they pretty much every black man in the entertainment business has really pretty much been discredited, right?
Mm-hmm. From
Bill Cosby to so on, right? So now it's no true like trust, you know. So now guess who they're going to trust now? They oppressor. Now guess who they want to marry? They oppressor. Now guess who they want to be next to and live next to? They oppressor. Okay. See, people don't understand the psyche of that. Yeah. All right, but you got that. Where we at now? It's that Proverbs 18 and 15. Let's get this Proverbs 18 and 15.
Nope. And then Salaki Dawad. It's funny how the white man can tell us that we African American, but when the truth come out, you don't want to hear it from the same man who told you African American.
Because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? You know, I want to stay asleep, and it goes back to that. You don't have to look it up. I just quote it right quick, to the best of my ability. Ecclesiastes 7:7. You know what I'm saying? What do oppression do? It makes a wise man angry. And what do a gift do? A gift destroys the heart, right? So now, if I can get, why do you think they paying these guys to rap about degrading their women, rap about selling dope to their own people, rap about, why do you think they're paying them millions of dollars? Because it goes back to what we said again. If we keep these people asleep, if these people can stay in sin, then their God would not save them.
Nope.
And without our God, we can't defeat Esau. I don't care what people say. You don't know. It's just common sense, man. I mean, they make the bullets. You know, you give me one formula for gunpowder right now. I'll wait. The average guy, he don't know what you're talking about. So man, stop it. Okay, we got to rely on Yahweh to save us, right? And give forgiveness to his son Yahweh Shai. That's our only hope, man. Anyway, you got that script?
Yep. The book
Go
of
ahead.
Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 15.
Yep.
The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge.
That's right. So the heart of the prudent, all right? The prudent, that word prudent. Let's look up that word prudent. Prudent. That the word, that person, that prudent, he getteth knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A person that's prudent, right? So we're gonna look up that. Let's get. I'm gonna give you the definition right now, so we can break down right now where it says prudent, right? Prudent, right? So we look up this word prudent, right? And it says prudent is an acting with or showing care and thought for the future. Okay, so this person is looking for thought and care for the future. Okay, the heart of the prudent that wants to care about the future, care about his something more than himself. He getteth knowledge. And the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just said right here that our people, most of our people are destroyed for lack of what?
Knowledge.
That's right. Because fools hate what?
Knowledge.
So the thing is now, I never forget, it was this old racist white man. And he is like, they all like a bunch of children, see. They all like little kids. They get to laughing and giggling and, they get so happy, see. And that's what you got to keep them, keep them all little laughing, keep them happy. Go back to what it says back in Judah 5:20. Keep them in sin. Keep them in sin. Okay? So we got, let's see here, another script. Let's give me this Proverbs 2 and 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding.
So who give wisdom?
The Lord giveth wisdom.
So your oppressor gonna give you wisdom?
The Lord giveth wisdom.
So your oppressor is not gonna give you. That's right. So we got to go to the Lord. Well, so like I was just having this conversation with that young man. Who gonna get us out of this? I said, man, we got to follow these laws, these statutes, these commandments. There you go. We didn't try everything else. So what you gonna do different? Okay. Now let's get this Colossians, so we get something. So they won't say that we just stay in the Old Testament. Let's get some of this Colossians 2, chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. That's Colossians chapter 2, verse 2 to 3.
All right. Colossians chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 2. That their hearts might be comforted, being knit together in love, and unto all riches of the full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of God, and of the Father, and of Christ, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge.
So all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. You notice they said that when it comes to wisdom, they compared it with a treasure, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's only way you get wisdom is through Yahweh. That's who give you wisdom, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it says it's a treasure. You know what I'm saying? So you said, no, if you walk in righteously, if you ask, you shall receive, right? So now let's get into this right quick. Because this is some things that we don't want to do and what we need to do. Remember, we was talking about the kids, right? And how they try to attack the children because they want to set those seeds in your children's mind. So when your children get older, they're not going to follow the way that you set for them, but they're going to follow the ways of the heathen. Let's get that Proverbs 22 and 6. Okay, that Proverbs 22 and 6. Okay, so we want to make sure that our children don't want to follow the heathens. And we know a lot of our, we know how our people are. Well, it's just for the kids. It's Nene birthday. What you talking about? And, you know, it's my baby Nene. Okay, but what happens when Nene is 19 and now she pregnant? I told Nene getting out of here, her and that baby. But you never instilled nothing in Nene. You never told Nene's about the Most High law, statutes, and commandments. Now she grown, and so now that cycle continues. And if Nene can't get into the truth and get her mind right, what's gonna happen to Mama Titi, Nene's baby? She gonna do the same thing. Go ahead and give me that Proverbs 22:6, please.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
But nah, I want her to have her birthday. It's about that. You taking from the kids. Well, who's the parent?
Right.
Okay. Who's the parent? If that's the case, then they don't even the heathens got rules. You can't drink until you're 21, right?
Yeah.
You can't even buy I think you got to be 18 to even buy a pistol. You can't drive until you're 16, but yet you're gonna have a child say that, pick and decide what they want to do.
Right.
What type of sense that make? Okay. Let me get Deuteronomy 6, 6, and 7 for me. What type of sense that make? Don't make no sense at all. You know, so who's the parent and who's the child? Well, you know, it's about the kids. Let the kids have some fun. Okay, I tell you what, we got all type of feast days. The kids can have plenty of fun. Matter of fact, they can get more than just one gift. They can for one day, you know. But we want to follow the ways of our oppressors. Okay, you got that Deuteronomy 6 and 7.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto the children, Salaki, unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou layest down, and when thou risest up.
Okay, so when should you teach them? Pretty much all the time you get a chance. There you go. So all the time you should be instilling to your kids these laws, these statutes. You know, it's the same thing. It's an old saying. You know, without a compass, you lost. So this book, our book, it's a moral compass telling us what to walk, how to live. You know, it says that Yahweh is perfect, right? We're the ones that's born in sin. So we got to start not leaning on our own understanding, right?
Yeah.
And not trying to follow the ways of these heathens. Okay. We got a couple more to go, okay?
That's good. Yeah.
So we got a couple more to go. And what I want to get now is get this Ephesians 6 and 4. Okay.
So the worms.
Ephesians 6
Keep on the scriptures. Don't worry about the videos. Okay, kind of. All right. Come on, short.
All right. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
There you go. So don't just be aggravating your child. Don't just come home and be like, you know, boy, I told you about those shoes right there. You know, do things in a loving way. Do things in a current, encourage them and teach them of the laws. You know, that's important because sometimes we can get caught on that. I'm a man, boy, I said this, boy, but do things in a certain way. Yeah. You know, just how Yahushua was with his disciples. When they was about to argue over, well, who's the greatest of us? And what did he do? Whoever is the least is the greatest. So we got to have that calm and that type of attitude, that type of meekness. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's important. Because, I mean, dealing in this world, one of the best things you can give a kid is to understand these laws, these statutes, and commandments, and doing it in a loving way. You don't want to be like, I said, no, you're going to read 16 chapters a day. I got this belt. You know what I'm saying? No. You want to do things in a loving way, and, you want to use discernment. All right, let's get this. We got one more chapter. One more that we want to get here, right? What is this one? We got one more script to get, and that's 2 Timothy 3:15. Okay.
Timothy. 3:15.
Yes, sir. 3:15.
Okay, the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 15, and it reads, "In that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith which is in Jesus Christ."
So it says from a child. So we got to realize too that this is war that we're dealing with. We're dealing with war from our oppressor. It's going to tell us his story. We at war for our oppressor that's going to keep us in sin. We are at war with our oppressor that's wanting to corrupt the mind of our children. So when we go back and we talk about the history, our history is right in the Bible. That's our history. Okay. That's of our forefathers. Okay. That's our true history of who we are and how we should live, how we should walk, and how we should treat each other. That's why it's so important for us to keep reinforcing this. Okay. Because I think what is it? The Bible means what a collection of books from history. These are a collection of our books from our history. We don't want to get the history of our oppressors. We want to get the history of our forefathers and the history that Yahweh set for us to do. With that, HOI Detroit, I hope you guys were edified with that. That lessons. Let's just try to stay focused that we can the true history of who we are and instill that into our children and still reinforce that among ourselves. That's right.
That's right. Beautiful.
That's right. All right. Kwam Yasharala.
Khan. Praises, all praises, man. Beautiful class, King. Hope you brothers and sisters was edified. And, let's close it out mighty. We'll be back tomorrow with the Wednesday wake-up call, HOI News, Captain Kasaya, HOI Philly. Khan? Good. Let's close it out with the Lord's Prayer. Give you at least 30 seconds. Let's close it out, family.
Okay. Well, if you can, I guess we could get ready. Face the east.
Good. There's some heavy curses over here, boy, especially this one. What they say, you dropped the bomb on me? Oh, boy.
Bomb on me.
Esau thought he got away with Tulsa, boy. We drop these curses on these devils, boy. All right, Kala Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Chakadash Shemai Yashar Allah Yahweh Allah Haynawa Yahweh Ahad Abinawa Shabashamayim Kodash Haya Shamki Yahweh Malakufka Taba'a Ratazaka Haya Aisha Ba'arataza Kawa Haya Bashamayim Latananawa Laham Hayuam Wasalach Nawa, Chabuaf Nawa, Kasalach Nawa, Chabuafi Nawa, Wala'a Tabiya Nawa Banasayawan Abal Hawashay Nawa Mayan Rai Kayalaka Hamalakwaf Wahala Wataparaf Lai Walamiam Amen. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, forgive us our debts, we forgive our debtors, and lead us not in temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Is the curse upon the nations and the heathens. How about Shem Yahushai, Bahashim Rachakadash, Shalak Rayim, Wa Anashim, Wa Abadim, Wa Haragim, Wa Mashapatium, Al Kal Adawamium, Wa Gawamium, Wa Yabyab Nawa, Babakasha, the water to Wab Evalam. Amen. Coming to you, how about Shem Yahushai, bring death and destruction and wrath and righteous judgment and curses upon the Edomites and upon the nations that come against us. The water to Wab Evalam. Amen. This is the anointing prayer for the people of Israel. Ya Baraki Yahweh, wa Yashamarika, Ya Ari Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, wa Yachancha, Yeshai Yahweh, Panyawa, Ayaka, wa Yashamlaka, Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Shema'ayu, Barak, Rupa, Yasharala, 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 Kal Akium, Kal Akhwafium, Kal Banium, Yashala, Yahweh, Bahashim, Hamashiach, Yahushai, the water to Wab Agulam. Amen. And with that, family, the Most High continue to keep y'all safe, strengthen y'all mentally, spiritually, and physically. Gives the spirit to endure to the end, to also be able to endure for the kingdom of heaven, also be worthy to walk into the gates of heaven and to be guided by Yahushua and the angels. And as he was saying in the scriptures, faithful servant, well done. So let's endure, family. And Kwame Yashab. Come.
My brothers, I'm representing. You touch one of them, that ass will be missing. No pot to piss in. Stop, drop, and listen. 2/3 of Jacob's about to be missing. Laws of Yahweh, that's what we teaching. Brotherly love, override oppression. Depression, that's our lesson. All for Yahweh, Almighty Hayanawa. I will protect your sons and daughters. Isaiah 14 and 21, prepare slaughter. Yes, I will stand up straight for your order. I love all these brothers. I laugh with my brothers, I cry with my brothers, I die with my brothers. Any given day, I will fly with my brothers. Man, I share with my brothers, I confess with my brothers. On any given day, I will die with my brothers. Listen, no disrespect, let's get real. Buckshot still hit drill and make will. Body parts scattered all across fields. Finger parts left aside to state bills. The devil using gas me up like Vin Diesel. The how I shot my CDL, I drink diesel. Wicked as hell, these straight weasels. Just like the ancestors who brought measles. Yahweh shot that good vaccine for my peoples. My brothers, I'm representing. You touch one of them, that ass will be missing. No pot to piss in. Stop, drop, and listen. 2/3 of Jacob's about to be missing. Laws of Yahweh, that's what we teaching. Brotherly love, override oppression. Depression.